I'm Jim Barry. Welcome to Miami Life, the show that brings you up close with the people and the issues that matter most here in South Florida. And we're going to lead off today with our person of interest, and let's just say that he is quite an interesting dude. After all, how many Catholic archbishops do you know who ride Harleys around town? Thomas Wenski has been Archbishop of Miami now for 15 years, and he has been out front and outspoken over the years. Lately, he has sounded off about Alligator Alcatraz, that controversial migrant detention center in the Everglades. I sat down with Wenski recently to get his take on the immigration issue and how it sits with his faith. Why do you think it's important that the church is allowed to conduct Mass there at Alligator Alcatraz?
Well, it's part of our mission, because these are people who have the rug pulled out from underneath them. They were working, living with their families, and all of a sudden taken into custody by some agency, either the state or the federal government, and landed up in Alligator Alcatraz. Being able to participate in Mass is one way to, again, remind them of their humanity and to raise them up in their dignity, and also to assure them that they're not alone, because God is with them, and hopefully that will give them some hope for the future, which for them is very tenuous. You know that many people have viewed this Alligator Alcatraz set up as inhumane. What's your view on that? When they first had that photo op with the governor and the president and Homeland Security, they kind of made fun of the choice of the name was, it was as I said in a column that I put out, you don't make fun or you don't take pleasure in the pain of other people, because that seems designed to dehumanize those people. What would Jesus say about this? Jesus would probably say, he's been there and done that. We have to look at Jesus' own situation. He's the Son of God who migrated from heaven to earth and became a man just like us. So Jesus is kind of the proto-migrant, But at the same time, he was also a refugee. Most archbishops avoid political issues. You don't. Why not? I try to say that if I get into politics, it's politics with a capital P and not with a small p. So I try to be political but not partisan. But I don't tell anybody how to vote, but I tell everybody what are the issues that we should be concerned about, and we want to vote for people that will make wise policy decisions. If President Trump were sitting here right now, what would you tell him? Well, I'd tell him, really, he should take a few victory laps. He promised to get the border under control, and the border is under control. And I think that's important. He's also, taken out bad actors, and I don't think anybody wants, dangerous people loose on the streets. So you're not going to get any argument from the people about, bad actors being removed from society so they don't represent a threat. We have people that, that are working, and we need their labor, because I don't think you can say that these people are taking away American jobs, because they're filling jobs that would otherwise go wanting. We see that in the agricultural arena, we see that in hospitality, hotels, restaurants, and we see that in healthcare. If you go to any healthcare institution here in South Florida, whether it's a nursing home or a hospital, a third of the staff will be immigrants. You can build a wall, but make sure there's some doors in that wall, because we need new doors, and make America great. But you're not going to make America great by making America mean. Many people seem to have lost hope right now, Archbishop. What would you say to those people to give them hope? I think we have to reintroduce ourselves to God, and if we do that, then we will discover that there is a future of hope. I think we should always have hope, and hope is a virtue, and and as a Christian, our hope is in the Lord, and He is the one hope that will never disappoint.
The words of Archbishop Thomas Wenski. All right, moving on for South Florida school kids, summer playtime is over. They have all gone back to school this week. Miami-Dade students, in fact, were the last to return, heading back to the classroom on Thursday. Broward County schools were back in session on Monday, and School Superintendent Howard Hepburn was there at Coconut Creek High School handing out free breakfast on the first day of class. Breakfast will remain free at Broward schools all school year, but parents will have to apply for free or reduced price lunch. And Broward schools have stepped up security. All staff, in fact, will have crisis alert panic button badges. It allows them to signal if there's a medical emergency or something suspicious on a school campus. Still ahead of Miami Life, we turn the spotlight to men's health. Football great Deion Sanders' very public battle with bladder cancer might serve as a wake-up call to men over 50. We talked to a South Florida doctor and his patient about a new treatment for men with prostate issues, and that could be a game changer. Welcome back to Miami Life. Football great Deion Sanders recently went public about his battle with bladder cancer. Now, thankfully, it appears prime time is well on his way to recovery. But his fight put the spotlight back on men's prostate health and why it's so crucial for guys to stay on top of it. National Prostate Health begins September 1st. That's why we're talking about it. And joining us now from Mount Sinai Medical Center is Dr. Adam Zabalewski. He's a radiologist, and his patient, Eli Portnoy. And Eli, you were diagnosed a few years ago with an enlarged prostate. What were your symptoms and how were you dealing with it at that point?
I was on vacation in the islands visiting friends, and I noticed towards the end of the week I was with them, I was having serious problems urinating. I didn't really want to deal with it. It's a subject most men don't want to talk about. I went home early. I was admitted to Mount Sinai's emergency room quite quickly because I could not urinate at all. And I was then diagnosed with having an enlarged prostate. And that began the whole trial of what do I do?
This came out of nowhere, I guess.
Nowhere, no. Didn't expect it. I actually, when it started to happen, I didn't even understand what was happening. But when you can't perform, you get into some difficulties. And I knew I had to have something done. Right. But I did not know. No, I had no understanding. I didn't know what the options were.
So, Dr. Zabalewski, one of the options was a procedure that's relatively simple. Describe it, and how did it help him?
Yeah, absolutely. So, enlarged prostate, or issues urinating associated with an enlarged prostate, also called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH for short, will affect pretty much all men at some point in their life. The numbers look something like 50% of men by age 50 and up to 90% of men by the time they reach age 80 will seek medical attention for these symptoms. There are a number of different treatment options that are available to patients for moderate to severe issues with their prostate. Most of those procedures are offered by urologists, and they vary widely from some surgical procedures, all performed cystoscopically. Also, they offer minimally invasive surgical treatments that can be performed by a urologist in office.
What did you offer him, though?
So for us, as an interventional radiologist, I perform image-guided minimally invasive procedures. For Eli, with having severe symptoms, we performed prostate artery embolization.
What's that?
So it's a minimally invasive procedure that's usually performed through a small puncture in the artery in the wrist or down by the groin. We're able to insert a thin tube or a small catheter into the artery and then navigate into the arteries that supply blood flow to the prostate and block up that blood flow, causing it to shrink over time.
Got it. So what kind of recovery time did you have here, Eli?
None. After I had the procedure, I came out of Mount Sinai. My son hadn't even gotten the car out of the garage, and I went home.
Wow. And how'd you feel?
I felt fantastic. There were some issues that happened after that. Because what happens is you see this incredible doctor, he takes care of it, it's quick, but you go back to your urologist. Yeah. And I think it's important to talk here that my urologist put this out there kind of as a casual thing because I was not looking forward to major surgery. And he said, you could do this PAE procedure, but I don't think it's going to work in your case. Oh, yeah, that's what he told me.
But you did it anyway.
Because it was minimally invasive, and I met this man, and he's a superb physician. He's a joy to work with. We were together 5 minutes, and I knew I'm doing this, and I'm doing it with him, and I'm grateful for having done that.
So, Dr. Z, you pointed out that it's kind of inevitable for men to go down this road. Why is it something that always creeps up for men?
Well, the prostate gland sits in the pelvis, just underneath the bladder. over time, as we get older, the gland enlarges, and it obstructs the passage of urine out of the bladder. So typically what men experience is, straining to start urination or stopping and starting pretty often. They may also experience frequent urination or a sensation like they haven't completely emptied their bladder. In Eli's case, symptoms can get so severe that you're unable to urinate at all, and you might need a catheter placed through the penis into the bladder to help drain and provide relief.
Symptoms more serious, like Deion Sanders had bladder cancer. I did an interview with Alonzo Mourning, Miami Heat star. He had prostate cancer. They can kind of sneak up on you, can't they?
Yeah, and I think it's important that the procedures that we offer and the consultation that we provide to patients should not obviate, a formal workup from a urologist or from your primary care physician, because things like prostate cancer or bladder cancer really need to be identified as something that's distinct, because the treatment options are obviously very different for the two disease processes.
Are there any do's and don'ts that men should take in terms of their prostate health?
I think that we were discussing this earlier. I think that leading a normal, sort of active, healthy life, sort of practical advice, is important for all men.
Yeah.
Inevitably, I think that just over time,
it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's probably going to happen to most patients.
We're like cars with 300,000 miles, and stuff's going to come up. Yeah. Looks like you take care of yourself, though.
I do. I work out, and one of the concerns about having more serious surgery through a urologist was that I might have to give up some of the time I spend riding my bike on the beach and working out 5 days a week. And this process allowed me to go home the same day and look where I am. I'm still doing all this same stuff. Yeah. There's some fear that those of us who are not doctors about this process through a urologist that's very serious. I have some friends who have done it, who have been now in the hospital 3 and 4 times. Yeah. I was out in an hour and change, and the rest is history.
All right. Well, you're the poster child for, go through this procedure and follow wherever the path leads you, and things can work out great.
Yeah, one of the most important things which we were talking about earlier today is communication. This is not a procedure that a lot of men find out about unless you push, or you're not willing to do what the urologist wants to do and you start exploring options. Yeah. And that's very important, because I would never have known about this and how good he is. And I'm hopeful today that men have learned some choices here, and he does a superb job. He really
Be your own advocate. That's the bottom line.
Well, but you have to learn what your choices are. Gotcha.
Eli Portnoy, thank you for joining with us. Dr. Adam Zabaluski, thank you for joining us. Very important topic, and I hope it encourages other men to stay on top of their health and make certain that they make the right decisions. Still to come, another story that impacts your health. It's the protein phenomenon. Seems like everybody is stocking up on protein-packed foods to build more muscle. We're going to tell you how to make sure you're making the right choice for your health. Welcome back to Miami Life. Well, protein is everywhere these days, it seems, from cereal, shakes, snacks, and even ice cream. But not all protein is the same. My colleague Erika Gonzalez hit the grocery aisle and the gym to help you figure out how much and what kind of protein you should eat.
It's hard to talk about a healthy lifestyle without talking about protein.
To make sure you have the protein, an adequate amount of protein, every day, every morning.
For Giselle Solar, protein isn't just a nutrient. It's essential to her fitness and wellness goals, and she's always ready.
I have things, my little arsenal at home.
And she's not alone. A recent survey found 61% of Americans are actively prioritizing protein in their diets. And food companies are taking note. They're pumping out all kinds of protein snacks, from protein popcorn to protein chips and even protein donuts.
The protein market exploded.
Monica Oslander-Moreno, a registered dietitian with Essence Nutrition, says that most healthy adults should aim for about 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight each day. Now, for context, the CDC reports the average U.S. woman weighs right around 170 pounds. That means she needs roughly 61 grams of protein a day. But Moreno says many experts believe that number is too low, especially since strength training is now recommended 2 to 3 times a week for overall health. And it's not just about how much protein you get. Where it comes from matters just as much.
this cereal has 8 grams of protein. Are you absorbing that protein? Is it high quality protein?
Moreno uses a little talked about system to evaluate the nutritional value and quality of protein in food.
There's something called the PDCAAS score. We, the scientists, score proteins on this scale. The highest is a 1.0. The highest is actually an egg.
Second runner-up is whey protein. She doesn't expect everyone to memorize the scores. Moreno says generally your best bet is sticking to the basics. It's the same advice personal trainer Saul Rivera gives his clients chasing results.
The steak, the chicken, the beef, if it's in the morning, eggs, egg whites.
Rivera doesn't lean on protein snacks to hit his goals, but he's not against them either.
The chips, the protein bars, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great alternative to eating a Snickers bar or regular chips.
But the bodybuilder is against using those snacks to replace full meals.
And I think people confuse it because in their goal to lose weight and to look a certain way, they're thinking that by eating less or eating these snacks and then not eating these full meals, that's going to get them to their goal, and it doesn't work that way.
It's that kind of advice Giselle has heard throughout her health journey and why she's mindful of the protein she packs in.
Hopefully, you know, in that process, like living longer, but living, not just living longer, but living healthy.
These protein snack options are appealing to many because they're convenient when you're on the run, but the expert we spoke with say that some great alternatives are jerky, cheese snacks, cottage cheese, and yogurt. Erika Gonzalez, CBS News Miami.
Thank you, Erika, and we'll be right back with more Miami Life in a minute. All right, welcome back. You know, the definition of a hero seems to have changed. In my opinion, the bar has been set a bit too low lately for such a distinction. And it's a topic I broached recently in a segment that I do called Absolutely Not. Well, in the newsroom this week, I got outvoted big time. I wondered aloud if we are too quick to call people heroes. This debate was triggered by an alert civilian in Michigan who pulled a gun on a stabbing suspect at a Walmart and then joined the crowd to hold him at bay until police arrived.
Throw the knife that way! Throw it away!
A noble act? Yes. Heroic? In my book, absolutely not. He had a gun at a knife fight. Now, my coworkers said he was heroic because many people would have just done nothing. All right, I'll give you that. But to me, heroes put themselves more at risk.
He jumped on top of the shark to take him out. He took the other, because they were like twin sisters. He took one of the sisters out. I thought it was somebody that was drawing on the water because I couldn't see anybody else. But she was walking outside with the hands all bleeding, like really bad.
These guys rescued a 9-year-old girl from Florida's shark-infested waters. That is heroic. And this too, police officers in Massachusetts carrying elderly people out of a burning building. I know they are trained first responders, but to me, that seemed above and beyond. Now, if firefighters had done this, I would call them rock stars. But heroes? Absolutely not. It's their job. I do think there is one more valid hero designation, and it's more like a Lifetime Achievement Award.
As a Cubs fan in the 80s and the 90s growing up in the Chicago area, like he was the Cubs to us, right? Like he was every kid's hero.
This week, baseball legend Ryne Sandberg was mourned as a hero. Fans looked up to Rhino for being a good dude with great humility. In my book, you ain't a hero if you call yourself one. Will my old school views on this change? Absolutely not. And that's going to do it for this week's Miami Life. Don't forget, we'll see you every Thursday for Miami Life at 6:30 on the stream. You can also watch all Miami Life episodes on demand on our YouTube channel. I'm Jim Berry. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you again.